Alright, so I think I'm recording. Let's take a look at finding the domain and range of these relations. I'm going to pause the video for a minute. Alright, so I'm back. I went and cut and pasted my thought process, what I always go through every time I'm finding the domain given an equation. So here I'm given an equation, a relation between y and x. I know the domain is the set of all real numbers, excluding any values that cause division by 0. Well, when I look at this, I don't have any variables in a denominator, so I don't have to worry about division by 0. But I do have an even root here. This is a fourth root. So I know that this 8 minus x represents some number, and I need that number to be 0 or positive. Alright, so let's solve this for x. I'm going to add x to both sides. I like to write my variable on the left-hand side of 8 as bigger than x. That's logically equivalent to saying that x is smaller than 8. In fact, x less than or equal to 8. If I draw a little sketch of that on a number line, I've got 7, 8, 9, and then since it's underlined, I include 8. So at 8, I have a solid dot to the left of 8 for values that are smaller than 8. Here to the left of 8. So all of these values, if I pick those values, I will have an x that will relate to some y value. If I pick values like 9, I won't be able to relate it to any y value. If you plug 9 into here, 8 minus 9 is negative 1, and the fourth root of negative 1 is not a real number. It's a complex number. We're only working in the set of real numbers. So my domain is from negative infinity to 8. I never include negative infinity, and since that's a solid dot, I include it. Now, I need to go and look at the graph of this to determine the range. So let me show you how to do that on that Desmos graphing calculator. I've keyed in some of these problems before, but the ones that I thought you might have difficulty entering them, I thought I'd show you. So the fourth root. If I look here in functions and miscellaneous functions, I see right here that they have a root and they have an index there that's in. If I hit that, it's asking me what index do I want. Well, I want a fourth root, so I hit a 4 there. Then I'm going to hit this arrow to have it move down to underneath the radical. And then what was it? 8. Oh, I have a negative on the outside, but it was 8 minus x. So I'll key in 8 minus x. And now I'll move this in the front because I don't want to forget that negative sign that was there. Okay. So this is the resulting graph that I get. Let's cut and paste that so that we can look at it and maybe write on it and stuff like that. Alright. Oop. Let's get a blank page. Alright. So let's cut this. Okay. So I'm now trying to do the second part of this, and that's find the range. The range is a set of y values. Well, I can see that the coordinates of this point, this x-intercept right here, if this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 comma 0. So I'm interested in the y-coordinates. Of all these points that are on this graph, there's infinitely many. But the one thing that all these points have in common is that every single point is below this point on the x-axis. All of these have a y-coordinate that's less than 0. So right here, this we can see is 7 comma negative 1. That's a point that's easy to read. Now there, it's kind of hard for me to read the y value there. Let's come over here. I don't know, maybe that right there. See, it's getting close. When x is negative 7, y is negative 2. So you can see that negative 1 and negative 2 are both below 0. So my range, well, this is a maximum value, this 0. So this negative 2, this arrow, this would just continue from negative infinity all the way up to 0, because all of the points on this graph are below 0 or less than 0. So, like I say, if you have a number line, I'm saying that all of these are the y coordinates. Now that's on this axis right here, but I've just written it vertically here. Alright, so there's my answer for problem number 1. My domain was here. That was the first part that it asked. I did that algebraically, and then for the range, I went and graphed it on that Desmos graphing calculator. On a quiz or a test, I'll provide you with this graph, and from the graph, we determine the range. I hope that helps. Talk to you later.